Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from today, and welcome to this Profit Success webinar, Credit Card Alternatives for Customer Payments. I'm Patrick Egan. Well, in just a few moments, we'll be joined by Todd Westerland and Eric Sevim to discuss how shops across the country are cutting the costs of credit card processing and putting those profits back into the shop. This broadcast is sponsored by Facepay, whose mission it is to increase profits for service businesses by limiting credit card processing fees. But before we begin, let me take care of a few housekeeping details. We'll try to address everyone's questions throughout the session using the chat box you can see over the side of the screen. Here's on that side, not sure, depends on what platform you're on right now. And if we don't get to your questions, we'll follow up by email after the broadcast. We're also recording the entire event today, so you can listen to it again or share it with a friend or the rest of your team later on. Well, we all know that credit cards aren't going away and people are not going to stop using credit cards to pay for their vehicle services. But after talking with hundreds of shops across the country, it's clear to me that many people would be just as happy to use an alternative payment system, especially if it involves text to pay. So to kick things off, let me hear from you, from our audience, about your experience. I'd love to hear if you're using text to pay now, and if you know how many of your customers are using cash or a debit card, so we can get an idea of how much money you might be able to save. So go ahead and use the chat box on the side of the screen and let us know if you're using text to pay, and if you know how many of your customers are not using a credit card. So, and while you're doing that, let me introduce you to Todd. So Todd Westerland is a 32-year veteran of the auto industry, and who's most recently been the CEO of Kukui, where he drove the meteoric rise of revenues over his 7-year tenure with the company. So Todd, if you're ready to go, I'll turn it over to you. The floor is yours.
Awesome, thank you. Let's rip it up, because I know everybody's shops are busy, and that's a good place to be there. Crazy times and stuff that looks like for us in California, it looks like some things are opening back up, and I'm okay with some of these changes. So today, as we take a look at an alternative to high cost of credit card fees, I'll kind of jump back to that a couple different ways. You really kind of understand the message that we have here. So my 32nd year celebrating in the automotive industry, as 15 years as a technician, a little bit of time as a service writer, a little bit of time the parts counter, and then these last 14 years I've really focused on technology and really how do I help the shop. And the reason why I always kind of spend a little bit of time on where I came from is my big thing is I've just been the technician that the shop has been slow and there just hasn't been a car for the rack. And so that's always stuck with me every day, is that there's a tech out there who doesn't have a car for the rack. So in any way, every day when I get up and get to work, it's just how do I make sure everybody stays busy there. Previously, also on the tech side, I spent, as 4 years at Demand Force, 1 year at RA Ryder, and then I spent 7.5 years most recently as the CEO of Kukui. All just great companies, all helping the automotive industry. I was really fortunate over this last year to reconnect with Dr. Hale. He created Demand Force, and we actually worked on the same floor in San Francisco at Demand Force. So every day I'd pass by his office and get a chance to chat with him. And as we went our separate ways, Dr. Hale, as you can see, that's a Facepay jet there. He traveled around the world, and one of the things he noticed in other countries is this thing here. If you can kind of see it, this petri dish of when I got this, I had to really clean this thing, disinfect it because all the buttons were black. But this doesn't exist in other countries. It's actually an archaic way of doing things. It's outdated, and you have folks that literally are just pulling out their phone in other countries, and they're just hitting a button, and they're paying a street vendor, hitting a button and finishing their steak dinner, just by literally a text to pay, or they're just hitting a button and jumping in a taxi. And so with that, as he was looking at this technology, he realized that in the United States, we didn't have that. We didn't have a text to pay, direct pay system that went around all these high touch points out there. And there's a lot more to it. So with that, Dr. Hale created Facepay. And it's very simple. It is a direct pay, bank to bank, similar to, say, ACH, more so like a money order, because when the consumer hits the button, the money literally leaves their bank and heads to your bank. So what happens is the shop becomes verified, takes them 4 to 5 minutes. And then at any time the consumer gets verified, it takes them about a minute and 10 seconds. And once they're verified, the Facepay platform gives them the ability to facilitate a handshake at any time, bank to bank. It's a flat fee subscription, so we're not held to all those crazy things as far as we talk about all the fees and all of that happen with kind of a credit card model. Okay, so kind of a little bit on our agenda there. So let me break that down a little bit more. So we're going to go back in history, and then we're going to shoot forward, and then we'll take a look at a live Facepay demo. We're going to pick Eric's brain here. We have Eric Severum of A+ Japanese, the winner of this month's highest usage of Facepay, taking on hundreds of other shops and coming in #1. So Eric has some insight into how it's working. So when we go back in history, it's funny because we think of all this credit card debt and all these credit cards out there. There is one industry having a drink from my Facepay mug. Thank you, Mariah and Matthew. Things beautiful. So when we go back in history, we go back and we're the ones that did it. It's our fault. Standard Oil did it. They're looking for a way to kind of defer payments, push it out to the end of the month. The next thing you know, we fast forward and there's some, $30 million of credit card debt out there. It's the #1 cause of fraud and identity theft. The high fees that happen to the businesses. It's tough. So there's a lot of predictions in the future too. Forbes is predicting these 3 major ones, that contactless payments will supersede traditional credit cards. I already see folks out there on bullet 3 utilizing mobile wallets and different things like that. And you also have point of sale systems, and financing will lead the charge also, where it's very simple. All of us are already doing Facepay. That's the thing. It's right there in front of us. We're already doing Uber. We're already doing DoorDash. We're already hitting a button and paying. If you sold anything on eBay recently, 138 million people who utilize eBay were just notified now. Basically they utilize a Facepay type model. They totally broke up with PayPal. PayPal is not a part of eBay anymore. So changes happen. There is a sign of the times, and we're here. Facepay is here at the right time. So let me kind of give an important disclaimer so that we just kind of understand too. Credit card processors are, how can I say this? They're not bad. Okay, they're not bad. I endorse DFG, ASCCA's credit card processor. They're amazing people. They know how to process credit cards correctly. They have phenomenal customer service. I've talked to Shannon personally, and Shannon is absolutely amazing, amazing person. And take it from a guy in the field. I was a technician for 15 years, so I'm your people, you're my people. If I'm talking to hundreds of shops and I hear out there about a processor that keeps raising the rates, does all of these things, and shops continually are upset, okay? I hear that. So I know, because I get that massive amount of shops I'm talking to. When I talk to every single DFG shop that utilizes the ASCCA's endorsed processor, 100% A plus 5-star rating with them. You guys, you got to take a look at them and take a look. Now, I'm going to go into some things that kind of hit hard on credit card processing. Just know there's a couple different ways of doing things, couple different methodologies, and we're going to take a look at how Facepay, we could say how credit card processing fees run alongside of Facepay. So first off, I talked to a shop the other day, $50,000 in fees. $50,000 of fees in a year. I mean, that is just it's rough. That's a lot. There's a whole employee. When we talk about the bottom line, how does that impact profitability? It's huge. It's huge. So Facepay actually is going to help you, completely. What we look at and the numbers we kind of focus on is cutting that in half. Half of the folks are still going to want their points. Half of the folks do. It's an emergency, or sometimes they haven't saved enough. They do have to put it on a credit card. Okay. What I don't want you to do, and what is a kind of processing methodology, is to say any of these things. Would my customers do it? Do people have money? Let me take a look at how much I have in debit cards, any of that. That's all garbage. Throw that in the garbage can. You implement Facepay, you put it in place, and you're going to watch a high percentage of people move over and utilize that daily. And you're going to watch your credit card yearly fees just drop. And you're going to watch that start pointing in the direction of dropping in half. So when I talk to a shop, as I talk to a bunch of you, I'll show you how you guys can, get registered here at the end. But every time I talk to a shop, if they're at 40,000, we're looking at saving, 18 to 19 to $20,000 is what we're talking about. Even more damaging, guys, is contactless payments and text to pay and card not present. And Facepay goes around that. So you guys have this burden right now: mask, pick up and drop off, sanitizing the car, gloves. You gotta constantly be changing the gloves. The DVI, which helps. We partnered with Shopware, phenomenal system, just one of my favorite systems out there. And when I look at the usage of DVI to help give a digital inspection, but now we come up, if people are still swiping this, you don't even have to do all the masks and gloves and sanitizing. Why? They're having to touch this thing, you're not wiping it down, we're dropping the ball on the 1 yard line. So you got to move over to contactless payments. It's here to stay. It's safer. It's safer for employees. It's safer for customers. And it saves a lot of time. But here's the thing. All these contactless payment systems out there that are saying, hey, utilize this, there's a little fine print that says card not present, and you get charged an extra 0.81%. So if you're at 1.8%, that's going to take you up around 2.6%. So the thing that's crazy to me is if you do the right thing and make it safe for your customers, you're going to actually pay more. That's why you're talking to Facepay, because if you do what's safe and best for your customers and your employees, you actually don't get hit with any of those fees. So Eric, I know you're right in the middle of busy shop, and I love it when you get a moment to jump in and pick your brain. My biggest thing that I'll hear from shops sometimes out there is that, is this hard? Would my customers do it? Do people have money? You're saying this was like a bank to bank, hit a button, ACH kind of thing. Like, people love credit cards. People don't love credit cards. They don't want credit card debt. They don't. I don't want credit card debt. And I talked to a shop once who said, well, my credit card processing company, not DFG, they're amazing. Not my credit card processing. They throw great barbecues, but they had $50,000 in credit card debt. Eric, I will cook you some ribs for the shop. At that. So how's your Facepay experience? How's the customer experience been?
The customer experience the workflow experience from the service advisors, proposing this sort of payment to the clients. It's been evolving, I would say. I'd say we're doing pretty well so far. Like initially, the way I looked at it was, well, what's the cost per month, Todd? Like about $100,
$99.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So initially I looked at it and I'm like, okay, if I paid on average, let's just say 3%, which maybe is the high end. If I ran $4,000 through Facepay, that's $120 at 3%. Okay.
Oh.
If I did $3,000 at 3%, it's $90. So if I just could commit to $4,000 of money going through Facepay per month, then I'm ahead of the game, if not break even, like ahead a bit. So that was kind of for us like a no brainer. And then we're in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then we have a lot of like tech savvy folks and people that use Venmo, PayPal. When you buy a car now, like if you bought a Tesla, they use Plaid as a back end to connect the bank account to Tesla. So people are like already adopting the concept of connecting a bank account to a merchant and doing it through a secure platform, which is blockchain. So they're doing it. I think Facepay is just early to the market for automotive. So I mean that. I didn't really understand all this stuff when I signed up. I just kind of ran the easy numbers and was like, I can probably push $4,000 through per month, and then I'll see how it goes. But now I'm trying to tackle client concerns, my staff concerns, security stuff, and the more I learn about it, the more I'm like able to kind of be like, oh yeah, that's handled. This is handled, and then everyone's more at ease. So I think our adoption rate should go up.
Can you give and you give the most generic answer you can, because I didn't ask you this before. I know this is a private question to you. Can you give a ballpark of maybe what you've put through, and give any number you want? I know Eric, just at least if you're saying, hey, I got to put 5,000 through, and you and I have talked how successful this has been for you, I guess you just say it's been highly successful. Maybe a shop owner can talk to you personally, or how would you answer that? Because
if anyone has questions, they can just type in and I can try to answer them real quick, just from a shop owner perspective. So happy to do that. And then from a dollars and cents standpoint, we put in, we're a really big shop. We have 12 racks and we have 17 employees. So we do a lot of volume. I think our adoption rate now is probably like 10 or 15% of our clients. I haven't confirmed that. It might be more like 20 to 25%, but it's actually going up quite quickly because we're able to refine how we propose this to the client. And we're changing when we propose it to the client. Like they get alerted to it upon check-in, and then one time throughout the process, and then the last time like when we actually do the payment. So they've had a couple of opportunities to sign up. So long story short is we're refining it, and the adoption rate's going up. And as of right now, in the 2 months, we put about 100,000 through.
Oh, you said it. Wow. Oh, Dr. Hale, I know you're on here. It's somebody needs to get pizzas to the shop or something. Like that's I'm really thankful for you just sharing that, because that is very personal to you. And what you're telling me, if I understand this correctly, Eric, is that you've paid over 2 months, you've paid $198 to process $100,000.
Yeah. We're like, okay, it makes sense if we did 4,000 a month and we did 50,000 in a month.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not like I still use credit card processing. Mm-hmm. And, people pay with check, they pay with cash, they pay with Facepay, they pay with credit card processing. And I looked at Venmo, I looked at Apple Pay, I looked at Google Pay. And from what I remember, they still charge percentages at each of those places. So when you reached out to me, I'm like, it's like, I'm like, let me hear this right. No percentage and $99 a month.
Yeah.
So it just seemed a little bit odd to me, but whatever, 2 months now going into 3, and we are starting to push the gas pedal down.
Yeah.
And then someone asked if my fees are going up as the credit card processing volume goes down. It's so not yet. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It's been like I said, it's been a short period of time. And although that's a big number, we do a lot of business. But the way I would answer that is I get calls maybe one or two times a month, and they say, hey, let me shop your rates. Let me shop your rates.
Yeah.
And so if the rate goes up, I mean,
I'll introduce you to 5 different processors if they raise your rate. That's not a problem.
Yeah, so
I'm okay with that.
on that side, the competitive landscape is so great that I think we could probably say, hey, what will you do with this? But if you can imagine, like, let's say my Facepay adoption rate goes up, but then my incremental credit card processing goes up, maybe 0.2%, 0.3%, maybe 0.5%, then it's just going to encourage me to keep pushing the Facepay over time. And if like you guys, we have repeat clients, when they hear about it the first time and maybe they don't adopt, when they lean into this the second time, maybe they will adopt. And it's like going on a second date. You get a little more comfortable the second time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah,
I think, Felicia, that's how I would answer that question. I think the people who are on this call are probably smart to be on this call. And if you can just commit to, if you can think about like 1 client a week at $1,000 ticket, you've just done it. And it's paid for itself. And then the second thing I'd say is have fun with it. Like we might give something back to our office staff because they're really the ones pushing it. And if what's in it for them, and then, okay, you answer that question, and then you maybe answer the question for what's in it for the clients, if you're having a struggle with them adopting it. But we haven't leaned into that part yet. I was telling Todd, maybe we'll do that, but we're just trying to ask right now.
I think the thing that I talk about every day, Eric, is that as I'm demoing shops, I explain that, and I'll kind of talk about you when I get here, is that you implement it into the process, and you haven't done this full massive marketing. Okay, there's all that's kind of, you're like kind of collecting the data as you go along with each aspect of it. And what I'm really excited about too is you're like, I'm about to push the throttle all the way down. Like now we're gonna, mass market, and so that's very exciting to see. And so thank you, because Brian Kelly up in Valley Automotive, up in the Seattle area, I think you guys both have the same similar systems. He implemented it into the process, and similar results. Mission Auto Care down south, also not on the call, but Rick's was right in there, and Gilda just so it's really exciting as far as all the ASCCA members to see them. I just realized Brian isn't ASCCA, but to just watch everybody and everything they're doing. So how about
well, let me just make a comment on that. Whoever's on this call, you can build it in like we have and have a couple of different touch points along the way. Or you could just ask right at the end of the sale, hey, we have a contactless payment. If you're with a major bank, we can do it today. Let me text you the information. And you kind of do that assumptive close. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to be super lightweight about it, just throw it out there at the end. But yeah, we've built it so that hopefully along the way, we're not even asking. We're just trickling it out in front of them. Here's the contactless Facepay. And then, like I said, we're going to just start to get serious about it, coming into March and April. And by the time we hit summer months, I'll be buying pizza for Facepay with my extension.
Wow. That's we appreciate you and appreciate you for sharing too. I mean,
Sure.
that's really every shop I talk to, they have the same concerns. That's an interesting thing is welcome to our team, Mr. Larry Garza too. He's on the phone, or on the meeting. Larry and I worked with us at Demand Force for many years with Dr. Hill also. And so very excited that he's rejoined the automotive industry, and just having a lot of these talks with Larry and us going out and kind of, we've been demoing different shops. He's like, it's the same 7 questions. I am like, I know it's the same, and you covered I'd say 6 of them. So I'll go forward and answer the last couple of questions there. But it's really just adoption rate. How do we implement it? And what are the real savings? And I have a shop in West Virginia, very different as far as the average repair order, very different as far as the amount. And cost of living there is one of the lowest in the United States. And really, in looking at what he's looking at, he's like, you realize that you guys are going to save me $5,000 this year, and it's going to be a huge impact to my family, and so I'm like, wow, very different, so all across the United States, even in the smallest, state with the one last in line, they're still like, we see exactly how this is going to work. So great stuff. Hey, Eric, any last thoughts?
Yeah, one more thought. I think you touched on it, but I want to clarify. Like in our business, margin is not huge, right? Like a software business, you have very little cost to run the business once you build out the software. In our business, it's like cost heavy all the way through, right? You want to grow, you got to get another tech, you got to get more space, etc. So I forget where the literature was, but you guys made mention that like 3% coming off of your net profit, meaning like however much is left in your pocket, 3% of that is a big number. I don't care how much business you're doing. It'd be like someone coming in and just being like, hey, you owe me a 3% tax. And
it's crazy.
That's how I think about it. Like when you put it in that terms, I would love for my adoption rate to be a 100% adoption rate, because 3%, I'd be like, cool, 1% I'll peel off and go advertising. 1% I'll peel off and go, to like, or maybe 0.5% go to office or my staff and split that out so that they got buy-in. Another 0.5% on training. Like I'll use the money. Like, because I was spending it anyways, I may as well reinvest it back into the business or take it back home, take a portion of that for the family. So I just think like, I'll close it out with saying, it's a no-brainer. If you can decide that you don't want that 3% tax anymore, and that you can at least collect $4,000 in Facepay. And for the client, I didn't talk about this, but the client side, it's just a couple minutes for them to sign up, super easy. So I'd say I'm all in, and we should get better with time, all of us. So it's a no-brainer.
That's awesome. What you're saying too, kind of running some numbers there. If we look at the screen and we just kind of say, these are your numbers as an example, we're going to still be friends if I save you $30,000 this year. That's what you're saying. So it's all right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be the low end. And then, the upper end, we could add another 10,000 to that. Like that's huge. That is humongous money. So
and that
maybe even a little bit more. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, excellent. Well, thank you, Eric, for jumping in, and
Sure.
true, very humbled, and just a blessing for you to take this much time out and really just kind of, you're right in there utilizing this every day. A lot of folks know me, and I'm like, I'm talking to shops, but it's great to have you come in and just let them know exactly what's happened. So
can I clarify something?
Yes, please.
I haven't asked you guys, and again, last minute, if anyone has questions, and then I'll jump off after that. But I was thinking about this yesterday. I was trying to tell someone who works with us about Facepay and like how it's safer. And we had a couple at the beginning, we had a couple of duplicate charges. Like the client accepted the charge and then we ran the charge. And Phil was able to like cancel one of the charges so that the client didn't get double charged before we got a call from the client, if that makes sense. So nothing happened because Phil caught it, okay? So my question is, when I initiate a charge against their Facepay, which goes through to their bank account, is there a buffer period in between, you know, us receiving the money and the money coming out of the client's account? Like what, and maybe Dr. Hale can talk to that, but I'm just curious if you can explain that portion, because I actually think if I know the answer, I can spin it for the clients like in a really cool way.
That's great. I'll let you guys kind of, Dr. Hale, maybe put something into the chat. I'll give you the one part of that, Eric, is that here's the interesting thing is when they hit that button, there's a gray area, a little purgatory that Eric's money goes into. What they asked us is, how long do you want to hold Eric's money? How long would you like to hold that? And the answer was none. We don't want to hold Eric's money. We don't want to make money off of your money. So the processors, that's one of the ways that they can, is they can make interest off of holding your money. So it does go into that area, but then it's set to instantly release, you know, to the bank same day. So I'll stop there because we have a celebrity coming in. Dr. Mark Hale, jump in on this one. This is my favorite webinar we've had. I'm telling you, this is what, if we're not having a good time changing the world and helping shops, why are we doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, if you think I came for that, I really came in because you promised free pizza. So that's, you know, I heard that and I wrote that down. So
I'm still waiting for my coffee.
This is great for everybody to be on a webinar. And Eric, thanks for sharing your direct experiences.
Sure.
Yeah, a couple of things about that is, you know, part of our mantra is it's one payment at a time, right? Is every payment counts. And that's why you picked up that Phil and I were watching these payments go through. We just had some even as webinar, and we were like, oh, wow, these are great, seeing who they're from. So every payment matters. And that's when we saw that you had one with a business charge or service writers and the customer wasn't paid the same charge, right? So a couple of answers for you is, since we learned from what we see, we've coded now to prevent that.
Yep.
Right. So you couldn't have the same amount go through without asking you if you're sure. All right. So we try to code to prevent it. But what Todd was getting to is, besides the code, is we have for everyone same day clearing. So all your charges are submitted to the banks by end of business day to be cleared out. But we have up to 24 hours to do something about that charge, right? That would be within product and automated that we could cancel. You could do it from your dashboard now, or Phil and I could always take care of you, contact it. So here's a 24-hour window to pull that back out. We'd be able to clear it past then, but it'd be somewhere we would have to get involved to do that, right? So we've already coded in the duplicate same day where you both couldn't pay together, but you'd have 24 hours to cancel automatically. Otherwise, you can contact us within 3 days to help resolve it.
Yeah, and so this is where I'm thinking about, Dr. Hale, is sorry if I'm hijacking this, but I think it might be relevant for people. I'm just like I was a diagnostic technician, so if I can understand how it all works, it really helps me, like in general. So if someone stole my credit card, I usually won't check the statement for a period of time, right? And so I think what you're doing is by coding in some of this stuff, we'll call it security measures, I think you're just doing us all a service. You're doing the clients a service. So I think the more we know about maybe the stop gaps or the measures that are in place, that will be helpful when we go and propose this to the client, because they've got two options. You can give me your credit card number that may get lost, stolen, whatever, or you could face pay. You have all the control, and there's a couple of these security measures that got built in. Because as of right now, yeah, and as of right now, FacePay doesn't have the name recognition that a Venmo does. So I think if we keep leaning into those built out security features, I think that's key. And then as long as the shop owners or writers know about that, it helps the adoption rate go up to the clients, you know? So that was one thing that I thought was really cool, that you're like, hey, we can just cancel this payment. And then the second thing I'll tell the other shop owners too is so I have a business login portal. And then if I want to take a charge from a client, there's a second dual authentication where I need to enter a PIN number. So if someone did break into your facepay.io account, there's a second measure where you need to institute a PIN number in order to accept payment. So rest assured, like someone can't break in and then just start stealing all kinds of money. And then thirdly, again, you just call Mark or Todd or Phil or whoever and say, hey, we got a problem. Can you reverse this? So I just think like keep working on the security measures, because for us as the people actually entrusted with the client's bank account connection, that's going to be a real key for adoption.
Awesome.
That's great feedback. So thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, thank you. And I'm gonna jump through here, finish out. I'm gonna go out live, Eric, and just kind of show the different kind of buttons and how it works, and literally just kind of talk to him about that too. So
cool.
Awesome, you guys.
I'll listen in if you guys have questions. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, please post any questions. And so we're going to look at two things real quick. I'm going to play you two just quick actual live snaps of two customers paying in two different ways. First one is just a scan to pay, real simple. And that is, we provide you, as you can kind of see, all the things you need in your welcome kit for all of your counter display, window stickers. You even get your own personal QR code sticker that looks card that looks just like that. We're going to give you all the code that goes onto the website, all email marketing, text marketing, everything you need. Set it up in the DVI, set it up in your point of sale system so that it's all fully connected up and very simple. So the consumer, it takes them 1 minute and 10 seconds to get registered, and then it's 10 to 15 seconds anytime after that they use the system. So that's, again, I'm going to click the scan to pay one more time, and then I'm going to show you text to pay over here. I'm going to click this one, play this one twice. Your consumers will use the text to pay 95% of the time. That's really the one that's big. And when I explain that, I've worked in a shop. We've all, worked in shops. At the end of the day on a Friday, and heaven forbid it's like a holiday Friday, there's a line of people waiting to charge this thing out, okay? They have to. They got to put the card through, put your PIN in. And what do we all do when we're waiting in line? We literally are standing there pulling out our phone, looking at our phone. It's wasted time. I'm standing there in line waiting to be checked out like a grocery store. It's not a good experience. The best experience is actually the FacePay experience, because if I can walk in and the service writer says to me, hey, keys are in it, pair order's on the front seat, you're good to go. We appreciate you, Todd. Be safe. And that's that. I've already paid. And so we're going to jump here. We're going to jump out to live product here 1 second. Couple more things we're going to talk about, and then we're all done. So first off, 0%, same day. It is a phone browser, so no app is needed. We took a look at that too. Consumers don't like apps. They don't like things that are drawing, resources from their phone, or the app's got to update, all that. So the FacePay experience, again, it's easier than a lot of the systems we talked about as far as if you sign up for geez, even your Ubers and your DoorDashes, those are all 10 or 12 steps, and FacePay is 8 steps. So it's even easier for a consumer to utilize FacePay. So let's jump out, and I'm gonna need a volunteer. Let's see if I can get David. If you're comfortable, you want to put your cell phone in the message there, and I'm gonna send you a setup text just so you can see. It takes about 3 seconds for it to hit. If not, let's see. Somebody send me their cell phone. And nobody. We don't keep the cell phone or anything. It's just gonna go in there. Okay. Or I'm gonna do this. Nobody wants to send me their cell phone. It's okay, Hannah. Okay, so let's do this.
Oh, he's got. Here, hang on. Don't hit on here yet. Let me give you a number.
Okay, hang on. I just realized I could send it to myself and then show him real quick.
Ready?
Read me off the number.
650
650
703
703
0973.
0973. Double check. That's correct.
Yep.
Okay. And is this David?
No, it's Eric.
Eric? Okay. So we're going to time the seconds it takes to get with him. So Eric, get your button ready. So let me know when it hits. There we go. So every consumer you talk to, when you pick up the phone, you're going to say, looks like it already hit. You're going to say, hey, hey, Eric, this is, I wanted to let you know that we've moved over to our preferred means of contactless payments. I'm going to text you a quick sign up link. It's going to take you about 1 minute and 10 seconds to get connected up. The benefit to you is that later on today, when the work is done, I'm going to text you a text link to pay. And just to keep time savings and maximize your time and also your safety, you're going to be able to just hit one button and actually pay. And then when you come to pick up your car, I can actually, put it on the curb, or if you want to pick it up after hours, or, if we're doing pickup and drop off also, we're able to do that. So on the text to pay, we put the phone number in, the amount in, and we click send to customer. And with that, it goes, directly to them, and they're going to, like we saw in those 2 videos, whether they did a scan to pay or you looked at the text to pay, it's going to be one simple button that they hit to pay. Third button is charge. So I'm in front for whatever reason. I've come into the waiting room, and we need to charge me, what the repair order is. We're able to put the amount in, put the repair order in, and we click charge customer. All of those payments are going to show processed right here. Okay, so you'll see all of those right down the right-hand side. On top of that, you're going to receive a text message letting you know that the payment has been processed. And we can set that up for the service managers, general managers, finance, whatever is best for the shop there. Along with that, last piece is this download button here, which is, here's an example. This is the reconcile report. So Dr. Hale was a divisional CTO at Intuit and worked directly with the QuickBooks program. And with that, he knew exactly what a shop would need to reconcile for the day, reconcile for the week, for the month, and for the year. So that's right here, already connected up for you. Very simple. So we're able to just, close out for the day. So all of those, this is as far as your, simplicity of text message to sign up, text message to pay, and then charge. And then also we give you all the email code, all of that, so you can put it into the email marketing or email follow-up, so the consumer can click that button and actually get registered right from maybe their maintenance reminder or confirmation email, something like that. We have the code that you put into the DVI and then even onto the website. Lastly, and I'm going to jump out and kind of show you some slides on this, but as we look here, we have 3 other advanced features. The first one is installments. So installments, we have a parts house in Chicago that does big builds. They'll have maybe 10 builds going, and each one's, as an example, $50,000. It's something they're going to build out over 10 months. So they want to set it up so there's a $5,000 payment happening, each month. So they're able to set that up and utilize our installment technology. Along with that, the big buzz, a lot of you have read it in Ratchet and Wrench and see more and more on this. A lot more people are speaking on it, is this right here. We're leading the charge in the subscription, secure subscription technology. And actually right after this, I have a demo with the shop that this is what they're asking about. They're trying to roll out a subscription model for their customers, and they haven't been able to do it because they don't have the payment option. And now Facepay provides that. So let's take a look at that. So we talk, integration. We've worked with these are all ASCCA endorsed vendors, all great folks, really work really closely, and all great stuff. Let's talk some advanced features just briefly. We talk about subscription. Kind of as we talk about the theme of the webinar here is, I always like to have some nuggets out there that are very advanced and very interesting to look at. So this is my household. We're looking at all the subscriptions that are just in my own household. I even have one to add now. We added BarkBox. So BarkBox is a subscription that sends my dog toys and treats every month. It comes in a little box, okay? But it's a subscription, okay? So we talk about Netflix, DoorDash, pest control, dog food, Stitch Fix, unlimited car wash, all these different things. And, and then we go to, let's see, I'm going to take a look at these questions here. Yeah, guys, these subscriptions are the way to go. What is the biggest complaint I have heard for 12 years in the automotive tech side of things, talking to shop after shop? The biggest complaint is the ups and downs every single month. That is something that our industry is plagued with. It's horrible. You could have 1 month where you do 80,000, or you do 120, and then the next month you do 80, and then maybe you do 80 the month after that. And the mentality of the shop owner, the experience is, did things just dip? Is it all over? Are we down 40,000? What's going on? And then it dips back up. The reason for that is we don't have that subscription service running in the industry, and that would bring the floor up. So you're going to hear more from us on this as we work with the top shops in the United States in unlocking this and figuring this out. Very simple as far as installment payments. We took a look at that. Subscription plans. When we talk installments, long-term project, unexpected repairs. I have a shop right now that use our installments. Literally had a car that they bought off of the shop, and the consumer said, listen, I can pay $2,500 this month, kind of pay $2,500 next month. And the shop owner just said, yeah, I'm going to have you kind of agree to a little installment thing through Facepay, get signed up, and then the 15th of the month, the other $2,500 comes out. And you know what? Having Facepay, again, huge. Service subscription plans, when you think about that, there's so many different ways that this can be done. There's a lot of different models out there. And as we go over these next 24 months, you're going to see that advance. Think of it this way, okay? There was a time where we had flip phones and we were all playing Snake on our flip phones. Next thing you know, there's smartphones. It's connected to email and everything. You take a look now of cable TV, and now we subscribe and we watch whatever we want on demand. We actually go around the commercials too, which is really nice. Like, change it just happens. And so why does everybody else get a subscription? You know what, personally, I just want $39.95 to come out of my account. I want 2 oil changes a year, changing my wipers in winter, do an AC check in summer. And actually, my wife can just drop off her vehicle and it's just covered because we have a subscription kind of thing. I really look forward to that. So continue to lead the industry and develop. So lastly, as we close out, I've done Phil Jackson. Let's give him all the credit there. Phil has done all the work. He has worked with just, hundreds of shops and himself working for 7 years with Wilhelm Automotive and managing and working with all the aspects of 11 chain shop in Arizona. He brought all that experience in and put all the programs in place so that a Facepay rollout is seamless. Training the staff, welcome kits, cards, automated text messaging. He's got all the verbiage already worked out for email blast, text blast, which, by the way, Phil can do the email blast or text blast for you if you don't have a system that does that. Everything's set up for the appointment reminders, and he's even got everything set up for website integration. So really simple. Usually we come to the how much. Eric jumped it out there for us and makes it real easy. It's $99 a month. I don't care if you put 5,000 through, 10,000 through, or 50,000 through. It's $99 a month. First 30 days is on us as we get you up and ramped up and get everything seamless. My suggestion is we get that training all done. It's in that first couple days there, and then you guys just start dropping $10,000 through, week after week, and utilize that nice 30 days. For this next couple quarters, actually starting here in the future, we are going to start a setup fee and a training fee. You could drop the link into the chat there. We have a simple sign up too. Really simple. First name, last name, shop name. Just verify you're not a robot. Don't want to sign up robots. And what'll happen is then we'll reach out, do the verification, get everything connected up there. And literally tomorrow, I'll run 50,000 through tomorrow. Let's do it. Let's get working together. Any questions? I'm going to jump back to just back to here and go right to here. So you have my phone number. That's my cell phone. Call me direct. You can text me. That's my email. Any questions you have, any follow-up you need, let me know. I'm going to go up here and read these chat questions. First offhand, there is a question I want to answer. Could this be extended into an app for the shop? I have an account with pest control, log in to pay and to see the history. I talked to my pest control guy and he absolutely loves this. So the app, on the research on the app is you literally the consumer can log in, or the business owner can log in from anywhere. So don't really need an app. And consumer wise, if you think about the different apps out there, they do draw resources. And the last thing you need is if somebody needs it to update. So we found that because it just directly takes them right into the browser quick. Here's the thing that's the most important: customer experience. So we focused on that, and at the end of the day, the customer experience is what's really critical. Let me go down here. Couple questions. Let's see, there's sure. There definitely could be some great thoughts in there. We're always developing, constant development happening. So again, great question. I believe it was Eric. You asked, why doesn't a shop sign up?
This is more even for just the people that are on this call.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the craziest answer, because it is the one that I get the most. Is shops have subscribed to this processing methodology. Now we need credit card processors. We need DFG. We need that great customer service. We do. You're going to have customers that are going to use credit cards, but it's also a methodology, okay? An overall methodology. Facepay is a different way of doing things. That's why it's so disruptive. So when we think about that, and we think about how that's going to roll out, sometimes it's too much for the shop owner to get. They'll literally say, Eric, will this work? I don't know if this will work. Will my customers do this? I don't know. Do they have money? And they're putting all these roadblocks in. That's why I said in the beginning, all that, I don't care if 100% of your customers are doing direct debit, or you think that maybe the last 10 customers came in and said they don't have any money. Like, I have the data. They do have the money. They will do it. It's easy for them to do. Wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here if all these customers weren't doing it, and the adoption rate of the shop owners. Now, why the automotive industry first? Kind of covering that. So you said, like, hey, you guys aren't that well known out there. Straight up greed, guys. Just absolutely. I wanted to bring this to the automotive industry and my people. I've got cuts on my hands from slipping with the die grinder. There's oil in my knuckle there that will be there my whole life. Now, when I talked to Dr. Hale, I said, you know what? This is all marketing dollars. Everything we do, I want auto for a couple years. Let's bring it there, because we do have 62 restaurants that came on board. We do have a florist, body shops. We do have everybody, have a coffee shop that reached out. Yes, it could help everybody, but we're all focused on automotive all day long. Great. Yeah, another great observation too is, so with that really is the big reason. I had somebody say to me, well, I just don't know, so I don't know if I'm going to try. And I said, you have $50,000 in fees. There's no setup. We're giving you 30 days free. I tell you what, let's do a worst case scenario. I save you $300 or $400. It's the worst I can do. I mean, so anyways, great question. For the most part, right now, as we're looking at 75% of the shops that take a look all come on board. That's it. The other ones eventually do come on board. So it's pretty awesome. The simplicity of Facepay, very easy to put in place and literally attack that bottom line. We're going to continue in this industry as a leader and a disruptor, and we're going to be also part of taking a look into some of these subscription items and some of those things out there. There's a lot of great ideas, and there is a lot of other things that we can do. We just heard from Eric, and he really shared a lot more than he ever does. So those of you that are on here, I've had him on some other webinars. He's chimed in for a few, and he's pretty quiet. He runs a tight ship, and he's figured out a lot of things. He doesn't like to share everything necessarily with everybody, which a lot of shops are sometimes tight-lipped. I had a shop ask me, how many other shops in the area are utilizing this? And I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, but there was one down the street, so whatever. But same type of thing. So really getting that in-depth look into a shop that's hasn't even pushed the pedal down. I'm looking forward to working with you. So reach out to me, jot my email down, send me, you can text me, please, maybe not, I'll take your text 9:00 on a Sunday. It's okay. I'm having an absolute blast, and every day I get comments from shop owners who are like, hey, you saved me $23 today. This thing is awesome. So thank you guys. It's just such a motivating, great group, great industry to be in. And thank you for all the team support too. So all of us here at Facepay, we got to come up with our name. We're Facepayans, or what are we going to call ourselves? We're the Top Gun folks. So, Dr. Hale and Patrick and Phil and Mariah and Matthew and Larry and Eric, thank you so much for taking time out. I know busy time and with the family and everything. I really do appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but it means a lot. Okay, everybody, be safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.